Good afternoon, class. Today's November 23rd, and we are going to go over chapter 15, which is a very important chapter. It's about, wills and leaving instructions if you should become incapacitated. I know you may be too young to even think about this right now, but believe it or not, it's very important to have all these kinds of papers in place. So I will go over the questions with you. So I'm gonna share the screen, so bear with me while I find the questions. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, class. All right. So the first question that you're asked for chapter 15 is, just scroll down. A document that precisely states the treatments of a person if they become terminally ill. So in other words, my uncle took a very bad fall, and he was in his 80s. When he was coming out of the shower, took a bad fall, hit his head, and he had a stroke, and he couldn't make these life decisions for himself. So what he had done was prepare what they call a living will. And sometimes in a living will, a person will say in there, DNR, do not resuscitate. He didn't have that, and so he was treated. Unfortunately, he passed away a year after that. But this living will is very important because people won't know what to do. They want to act as if you were in the driver's seat, but sometimes that can't be the case if something happens to you, especially a stroke, heart attack. So this document is called a living will. And a living will specifies the treatments of a person, what they want if they become terminally ill. And one of the instructions, as I said, is DNR, which means do not resuscitate. And believe me, when I was in the emergency room, they were asking for that document like pronto. They wanted it immediately. I had to have it faxed from his doctor. So these are important documents, and it's also important to know where these documents are. I know my mother's from the old school, and sometimes they don't want to talk about these things, but it's very important to know where your family keeps these important documents as well. Number 2, the unified tax credit can be applied against gross estate, adjusted gross estate, total income of the beneficiary of a will, tentative tax on the estate tax base, or total estate taxes. So there's a unified tax credit, which reduces, when you say credit, reduces the tax that you will owe, which is a good thing. And this tentative tax credit would be applied to answer estate tax base. The tentative tax on the estate tax base. That would be the answer for that one. Tentative means not exact. It's sort of like a projection. It's not a final number. It's tentative. These are good words to know, and I recommend that if you get a word you don't understand, please look it up, because you want to add some good vocabulary to your repertoire, because you are college students and you want to step up your game and speak as a college graduate, because people will be looking at you as far as getting a job, and these type of things will be noted and will help you on your journey and your career. So 3, you could gift any number of people so much a year. Last time I looked at this, it was $13,000 a year. So in other words, you will not have to pay any gift taxes as long as it's under a certain amount. So the choices are $25,000, $36,000, $5,000, $12,000, and $15,000. Last time I looked, it was $13,000. It's not even a choice there. So currently, the answer is $15,000. So my question to you is, this past year, I gifted each of my sons $9,000 each. Will I have to pay a gift tax on that $9,000, and $9,000 equals $18,000? The answer is no. It's not the total I gifted, it's per donee. So one donee got, meaning my son Matthew and my son Christopher, each got $9,000. So I do not have to pay gift taxes because each gift to those donees is under the $15,000 cutoff point. So that answer is $15,000. A trust that provides for management continuity and income flow even after the grantor's death and allows assets to bypass probate. Okay, Google, turn off the alarm. But which provides no income or estate tax changes is so you have a revocable living trust, you have an ethical living trust, a charitable lead trust, a testamentary trust, and a credit shelter. What do you think? Well, a testamentary document is a will, but they're asking about a trust. And the answer is a revocable living trust, a revocable living trust. And that's very important, that word revocable, because it means that the grantor can change his mind and revoke the trust. If it's an irrevocable trust, the person cannot change that. It's set and that's it. But revocable, the grantor can change it before their death. Number 5. Let's see. A blank gives the rights of survivorship to the owner of a property. Grantor property, tenancy by the beneficiary, joint tenancy, community property, tenancy in common. So the answer is joint tenancy. Joint tenancy. Let's see, joint tenancy, do I have anything on that? Let me grab my book. Okay, chapter 15, let's see. Let's look at joint tenancy. Let's see if we can find the definition in our book. Let me see, I'm looking. If I can't find it, we'll move on. Okay, here we go. Joint tenancy. A type of ownership by 2 or more parties, with the survivors continuing to hold all such property upon the death of one or more of the owners. So in other words, a married couple, could own a home in this joint tenancy. All right, so now let's see, let's look at 6. A trust that comes into existence only after the will is probated is known as a blank trust. A trust that comes into existence after the will is probated is known as a codicil trust, living trust, revocable trust, or tenancy trust. The answer is, let's see, For some reason, I don't see the answer. Let me see. I believe the answer is testamentary trust, although for some reason I don't see the that in the answers. The answer should be testamentary. It's a trust created by a decedent's will and is called a testamentary trust. So that's the answer to that one. Okay, let's see. I think I numbered them wrong. That's why I'm having trouble. The tax base for the transfer tax is, the tax base for the transfer tax is fair market value, book value, net realized value, tax credit value, gross gift value. The answer is FMV, which stands for fair market value. That is the tax base for the transfer tax. Number 8. In 2018, James gave his son $5 million term life insurance policy, taken on James' life. At the time of the gift, James was in good health, and the value of the term insurance policy for gift tax purposes was less than $14,000 annual exclusion amount. However, James died a year later in 2019. Which of the following statements is true? Well, the rule is that this $5 million will be included in James's gross estate. Why? Because he died within 3 years. He died within 3 years of gifting his life insurance policy. So it will be included in the gross estate. So based on what I'm telling you, I'll leave it to you to pick the correct answer on that one. 9. Which of the following best describes a situation of intestacy? INTESTACY. These are legal terms, and that's why they may be, you may be unfamiliar with them, but try to familiarize yourself with these things because it's important. So that means that Lily died without a valid will. That's what it means. Intestacy means dying without a valid will. Okay? The other choices don't apply. 10. A letter of last instruction. So I have a will. Maybe I have also a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust. I might have all of these different things for different reasons. I might have my house in an irrevocable trust. I might have my will made up for my children and whoever else is on there, my grandchildren. And I also might have a revocable trust for something else that I own, maybe my car, I'm not sure. So the letter is of instruction, it's informal. It's an informal memorandum. In other words, it's almost like I'm reaching from the grave, telling everyone, listen, I know I've got a will and this, that, and the other thing, but this is really what I want in plain English. I want Joey to get my car. I want Mary to get my house. And ultimately, I would like Susan to have all my jewelry and my grandchildren, 5,000 each. So it's almost as if something goes wrong. At least they can refer to this memorandum to see, well, this is her current wishes. Is it being, are we truly following that memorandum? So it's important to see that the memorandum ties out to what the person has set up before they pass away. There's also an applicable exclusion amount for estate tax. And in the year of 2018, it was a certain amount. And these are all deemed by the IRS, by the way. And the amount is $11,180,000. That's the applicable exclusion amount for estate tax for 2018. And estate tax is very high rates, very high rates. So if there's an exclusion, that's a very good thing because the rate is up there. I want to say last time I looked at it, it was like 33%. That's 1/3. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of tax. The transfer of an estate after death by an individual to the blank of the individual will result in most favorable tax treatments. So the best case scenario when someone passes away is to leave their estate to the spouse. To the spouse. That's going to have the best tax ramifications. 13, a written and legally enforceable document expressing how a person's property should be distributed upon his or her death is known as, and I bet you know this one, and it begins with a W. The answer is a will. A will, a written and legally enforceable document expressing how the person wants their property distributed. Which of the following statements about the review of estate plans is true? Well, just like we talked about the budget we prepared in the beginning of this class, you periodically want to review your budget to see if things have changed, if you have to revise it. Well, the same is true about any kind of plans that you make, even if you're going to Disney World or Disneyland. The COVID had to cause people to revise their plans about what they were doing on vacation. Some people had to just stay in their home, in their backyard, and create a vacation atmosphere at home. So the same is true when you're having these estate plans, the end of your life. You periodically should review and revise what's required and update your plan, update the plan. So that's what the case with that. And last but not least, number 15, Jane and Arthur Partrickson are happy that their daughter is graduating from high school. They gift their daughter $25,000. So that's above the $15,000 exempt. Remember, we learned that in a prior question. And with $12,500 being paid out of Mr. Patrickson's account and the remaining from Mrs. Patrickson's account. Oh, okay, this is a little different now. So you've got one donee, the daughter, but you've got two donors. So one donor is given $12,500 and the other donor is given $12,500. Well, guess what? Those are both under $15,000. So what will the gift tax payable be for the Patricksons on account of the above transaction? It is going to be zero. Because with a married couple gifting their daughter, or whoever they decided to gift, it will be $15,000 each, or a total of $30,000. So the $25,000 is even less than that. So they will not be charged with estate, with gift tax, not estate tax, GIFT tax. So there's gift tax, estate tax. All right, so that's the lesson for today, scholars. And if you have any questions, you'll email me. These alternate assignments are for people who got locked out of the original assignment. I'm just trying to help them bring their grade up. Please, if it's worth 30 points, I want to see an assignment that looks like 30 points, not an assignment of 3 sentences. No one is going to get 30 points for 3 sentences, maybe 10 points. And if you're satisfied with that, I'm okay with that. But understand what a 30-point submission looks like. It looks like a college essay with a cover sheet and correct spelling and grammar and elaborate and explanation and citations from the book. It involves some time and effort put into the assignment. All right, scholars, have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. Blessings to all of you. I happen to love turkey. I hope you enjoyed whatever meal that your family's preparing. And just be good to each other and enjoy each other's company. And this is what's important in life, our family and our friends.